0400 local time on a freezing morning in late February 2026, a Ukrainian electronic warfare operator in the Zaporizhzhia region notices something impossible in his spectrum analyzer. For 3 years, the Russian defensive network known as the Surovikin line has broadcast a constant wall of jamming noise, suffocating every frequency across the southern front. But tonight, a 2-kilometer sector near the village of Robotyne goes completely dark. No radar emissions, no drone jamming, just dead air. It is not a malfunction, it is bait, or so the Russian commanders think, an intentional gap designed to lure Ukrainian mechanized units into a pre-registered artillery kill zone. What the Russian battery commanders do not know is that Ukraine has been waiting for this exact trap for 6 months, and they are about to turn a localized tactical deception into a 400-square-kilometer nightmare. The plan is not just to take back 8 settlements. Taking ground is simply the noisy distraction. The real objective is something far more dangerous, a mechanical chain reaction designed to break the entire Russian logistical spine across southern Ukraine. But to trigger that collapse, the Ukrainian forces first have to walk directly into the kill zone and survive. The first wave does not send tanks or armored personnel carriers. Instead, they send something the Russian thermal optics are not calibrated to understand. Before we continue, make sure to hit like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. At 0415, the Russian artillery spotters, staring through their thermal monitors, see movement in the dark. They immediately call in fire missions, expecting to obliterate a column of Ukrainian heavy armor pushing through the silent corridor. The first salvos of 152mm shells scream through the freezing air and slam into the mud, throwing geysers of frozen earth into the sky. But when the dust settles, there are no burning tanks. Instead of sending million-dollar armored vehicles, the Ukrainians deployed a swarm of autonomous ground drones, cheap electric-tracked platforms no larger than a riding lawnmower, stripped of all weapons, and loaded purely with thermal emitters and radar reflectors. The Russian gunners just spent $500,000 worth of precision artillery shells destroying modified remote-controlled toys. This is the math of modern attrition. By the time the Russian batteries realize they have been shooting at ghosts, their exact firing positions have been mathematically triangulated by Ukrainian counter-battery radars. Within 45 seconds of the first Russian gun firing, a Ukrainian high-mobility artillery rocket system located 30 kilometers away launches a salvo of guided rockets. The Russian artillery batteries are instantly wiped out in a series of catastrophic secondary explosions, clearing the path for the real assault. The trap has been broken. With the artillery threat neutralized, the real Ukrainian mechanized infantry begins its brutal push south. By 0530, a column of Bradley fighting vehicles and Leopard 2 tanks crosses the line of departure, moving at 30 kilometers per hour over the frozen fields. Their target is a network of fortified trench lines protecting the first of 8 heavily defended settlements. The Russian defenders in the trenches are prepared, armed with advanced anti-tank guided missiles and heavy machine guns. As the Ukrainian armor closes within 2 kilometers, a Russian operator fires a laser-guided anti-tank missile directly at the lead Leopard tank. The missile accelerates to supersonic speed, homing in on the vehicle with pinpoint accuracy. But the Leopard is equipped with a newly integrated active protection system. Milliseconds before impact, a tiny radar array on the tank detects the incoming threat and fires a kinetic interceptor no larger than a soup can. The 2 objects collide in midair at over 1,000 meters per second, detonating the anti-tank missile 50 meters away from the hull. The tank does not even slow down. The Ukrainian column immediately returns fire, with the Bradley vehicles using their 25mm chain guns to suppress the trench line with terrifying precision. In less than 20 minutes, the first Russian defensive tier collapses, and the Ukrainian forces secure their first settlement of the offensive. By noon on the second day of the operation, the Ukrainian military has reclaimed over 50 square kilometers of territory, moving with a speed not seen since the autumn of 2022. But the Russian command structure quickly adapts to the localized breakthrough. Realizing that their traditional artillery has been countered, the Russian generals authorize the deployment of a massive first-person view drone swarm. Over 300 explosive-laden drones are launched simultaneously from launch sites positioned 20 kilometers behind the front line. The sky above the advancing Ukrainian column fills with the high-pitched hum of electric motors. This is a saturation attack designed to overwhelm the mobile air defenses of the mechanized brigade. A single anti-aircraft gun cannot track 300 erratic targets moving at 150 kilometers per hour. The Ukrainian column is forced to halt in the open terrain, highly vulnerable to the incoming swarm. But the Ukrainian commanders anticipated this exact countermeasure. Instead of trying to shoot the drones down with kinetic weapons, they deploy a coordinated electromagnetic pulse from a network of highly modified armored vehicles. They do not target the drones themselves, they target the narrow radio frequency band controlling the entire swarm. In a fraction of a second, the control signal is corrupted. The effect of the electromagnetic pulse is immediate and devastating for the Russian operators. 280 of the 300 incoming drones instantly lose connection with their controllers. Denied their navigation data, the drones default to their fail-safe protocol, which simply cuts power to their rotors. The sky literally rains plastic and lithium batteries as hundreds of explosive payloads plummet harmlessly into the empty fields, detonating on impact with the freezing mud. The remaining 20 drones that managed to slip through the interference are swiftly shredded by the chain guns of the Ukrainian armored vehicles. The massive Russian drone counterattack, which cost millions of rubles and hours of logistical preparation, is neutralized in exactly 12 seconds without a single Ukrainian casualty. With the skies temporarily cleared, the mechanized column shifts into high gear and punches through the second defensive line, rolling into 3 more settlements by nightfall. The total reclaimed area now exceeds 150 square kilometers. The speed of the advance sends shockwaves through the Russian Southern Command Center. They are losing ground at an unsustainable rate, and the Ukrainian spearhead is showing no signs of slowing down. But this rapid territorial gain is exactly what the Ukrainian planners needed the Russian generals to see. By 0800 on day 3, the Russian Southern Command Center in Melitopol enters a state of controlled panic. They have lost 150 square kilometers in under 48 hours, and their ground forces cannot halt the mechanized bleeding. Desperate to stop the Ukrainian momentum, the Russian generals deploy their most lethal anti-armor asset, a squadron of heavily armed attack helicopters equipped with long-range laser-guided missiles. The helicopters launch from a secure airfield 70 kilometers away, flying just 30 meters above the treetops to evade long-range radar detection. Their mission is simple: fly to the edge of the contested zone, hover behind a ridgeline, and snipe the Ukrainian armored vehicles from 8 kilometers out, well beyond the range of standard shoulder-fired anti-aircraft missiles. At 0845, the lead helicopter pops up over the ridge, acquires a Ukrainian tank in its targeting pod, and prepares to fire. But the pilot never gets the chance to pull the trigger. A Ukrainian medium-range surface-to-air missile, entirely invisible to the Russian radar warning receivers, slams into the helicopter's tail rotor at Mach 3. The aircraft spins out of control and crashes into the frozen forest below. The Ukrainians did not outrun their air defense. They disguised a highly advanced missile launcher inside a standard canvas-covered supply truck, driving it right to the front line. The sudden loss of their premier attack helicopter forces the remaining Russian aviation squadron to immediately abort the mission and retreat. With their close air support effectively neutralized, the Russian ground commanders are left with only one desperate option to prevent a total collapse of the front. They issue an emergency order to completely redistribute their defensive lines, pulling 3 elite mechanized battalions away from the critical eastern sector and rushing them toward the Zaporizhzhia breakthrough. This massive redeployment involves moving over 4,000 troops, 100 armored personnel carriers, and dozens of logistical supply trucks across a contested highway system in broad daylight. Moving this amount of heavy equipment requires precision coordination, but the Russian units are rushing in a state of sheer panic. By 1400 hours, the hastily organized Russian reinforcement convoys begin bottlenecking at a major highway intersection just 15 kilometers south of the Ukrainian advance. They are sitting bumper to bumper, burning fuel, and frantically trying to untangle their supply lines. This massive traffic jam is exactly the operational vulnerability the Ukrainian intelligence officers were hoping to create. The Ukrainian commanders do not immediately strike the convoy. Instead, they allow the congestion to build for another 30 minutes, ensuring maximum density before unleashing their next calculated blow. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone orbiting high above the cloud layer transmits the exact coordinates of the gridlocked Russian reinforcement convoy back to the command center. Within 2 minutes, a battery of precision-guided rocket artillery launches a synchronized volley from a secure position 40 kilometers to the north. The rockets arc high into the stratosphere before deploying their specialized payloads directly over the jammed highway intersection. But these are not standard high-explosive warheads designed to crater the road. Instead, the rockets release hundreds of smart submunitions that deploy small parachutes, scanning the ground with infrared sensors as they descend. The moment a sensor detects the massive heat signature of a running tank engine, it fires an explosively formed penetrator straight down through the thin top armor of the vehicle. In less than 45 seconds, 25 Russian armored vehicles are simultaneously crippled, effectively turning the entire highway junction into an impassable graveyard of burning steel. The elite Russian reinforcements are completely paralyzed, trapped behind their own destroyed equipment and unable to reach the front lines. The Ukrainian mechanized infantry seizes this total operational paralysis to accelerate their advance, pushing relentlessly forward and securing 3 more key settlements before the sun even sets. By the end of the first week of March 2026, the localized counteroffensive reaches its territorial zenith. Ukrainian forces have successfully liberated 8 heavily fortified settlements and reclaimed a staggering 400 square kilometers of sovereign territory. This advance marks the most significant shift in the southern front lines after nearly 2 years of grueling, static trench warfare. Russian troops are entirely disorganized, forced into a chaotic retreat as they desperately try to establish a new defensive perimeter 10 kilometers further south. The Ukrainian engineering units immediately move into the newly captured territory, laying massive minefields and constructing reinforced concrete bunkers to ensure the Russians cannot launch a quick counterattack. To the outside world, this operation appears to be a phenomenal conventional military victory, a textbook example of combined arms maneuver warfare successfully breaking a stagnant defensive line. Military analysts broadcast updates detailing the captured square kilometers and the successful redistribution of Russian reserves. But capturing those 400 square kilometers was never the ultimate strategic objective of this meticulously planned operation. The 8 liberated settlements and the spectacular tactical victories were simply a very loud, very expensive smokescreen. While the world's attention is entirely focused on the burning Russian tanks and the newly redrawn maps in the Zaporizhzhia region, the true masterstroke of the Ukrainian military intelligence is silently unfolding dozens of kilometers away. By forcing the Russian military to panic and redistribute those 3 elite battalions from the eastern sector, the Ukrainian operation systematically thinned out the defenses surrounding a completely different, highly classified target. The entire assault, the drone swarms, the localized breakthroughs, and the highway ambushes were all mathematically calculated to draw Russian air defense networks and mobile reserves into one specific corner of the map. With the Russian logistical network completely saturated trying to feed the Zaporizhzhia meat grinder, a massive corridor of undefended airspace has quietly opened up over the eastern front. For 4 days, the Russian commanders have been looking exactly where the Ukrainian generals wanted them to look, pouring their limited resources into plugging a hole that was designed from the very beginning to be a trap. The board has been perfectly set. The Russian defensive assets are completely out of position, and the real weapon that Ukraine has been holding in reserve for months is finally ready to be unleashed into the unprotected skies. At exactly 0300 on the 9th of March 2026, while Russian engineering units are frantically pouring concrete and digging new trenches in the south, a pair of Ukrainian strike aircraft take off from an airbase deep in the western part of the country. They are flying completely dark, maintaining absolute radio silence and hugging the terrain at barely 100 meters above the ground to avoid early warning radars. Their target is not the newly established front line in the Zaporizhzhia region. Instead, they are heading dead east toward the heart of the Donbass, aiming for the largest and most heavily fortified railway classification yard, supporting the entire Russian Eastern Military District. Normally, this critical logistical hub is protected by a minimum of 4 long-range surface-to-air missile batteries, creating an impenetrable dome of radar and kinetic interception. But because the Russian generals panicked and rushed their mobile air defense units south to stop the mechanized breakthrough, the impenetrable dome now has a massive 30-kilometer-wide blind spot. The strike aircraft push their throttles forward, accelerating to over 900 kilometers per hour as they slip seamlessly through the newly created radar gap. The Russian operators monitoring the remaining defense screens see nothing but routine ground scatter, entirely unaware that the most destructive strike package of the war is currently flying right through their front door. Just 50 kilometers from the target, the Ukrainian pilots initiate a sudden pop-up maneuver, pulling their aircraft into a steep climb to acquire a satellite lock. The sudden increase in altitude instantly triggers the alarms inside a surviving Russian short-range radar vehicle. The Russian operators frantically try to build a targeting solution, but they only have a maximum of 12 seconds before the Ukrainian jets drop back below the radar horizon. It takes the Russian computer 8 seconds to classify the threat, leaving exactly 4 seconds to launch an interceptor. But 4 seconds is too late. The Ukrainian pilots release 4 long-range stealth cruise missiles simultaneously and immediately dive back toward the Earth, vanishing from the Russian screens as quickly as they appeared. The Russian air defense operators breathe a sigh of relief, assuming the aircraft aborted their mission and fled. What they failed to realize is that the aircraft were never meant to cross the front line. They were simply the delivery system for 4 highly advanced, jet-powered autonomous missiles. These stealth munitions drop down to a cruising altitude of just 30 meters, navigating by comparing the terrain below them to an internal map of satellite imagery. They do not rely on standard global positioning signals, meaning the heavy electronic jamming blanketing the railway yard has absolutely zero effect on their trajectory. The missiles weave through the valleys at over 800 kilometers per hour, completely undetected by the Russian defenders who are still looking at the sky. At exactly 0342, the first stealth cruise missile reaches the perimeter of the massive railway hub. The target is a highly reinforced underground ammunition storage facility that currently holds over 10,000 tons of high explosives destined for the Eastern Front. A standard warhead would simply detonate on the concrete roof, causing minimal internal damage. But these missiles are equipped with specialized tandem warheads. The first missile strikes the heavily armored roof of the main bunker, using a shaped charge to instantly punch a perfectly round hole through 2 meters of reinforced steel and concrete. 1.5 seconds later, the second missile flies directly through the freshly created opening, penetrating deep into the subterranean storage bays before detonating its main explosive payload. The resulting explosion triggers a catastrophic chain reaction among the 10,000 tons of stored Russian ammunition. The sheer force of the secondary blast vaporizes the entire underground complex, violently cracking the earth and throwing thousands of tons of concrete, steel, and unexploded artillery shells hundreds of meters into the air. The third and fourth missiles strike the main railway switching stations, completely obliterating the tracks and destroying 3 fully loaded fuel trains that were waiting for clearance. In less than 10 seconds, the primary logistical heart-pumping blood to the entire Russian eastern offensive is reduced to a smoldering crater. The operational brilliance of the Ukrainian strategy is finally revealed in the catastrophic aftermath of the railway yard explosion. The Russian military command is left entirely paralyzed, forced to watch as their entire eastern supply chain disintegrates into ash. They cannot send repair crews or replacement ammunition because the only units capable of securing the area are currently stuck in a massive traffic jam hundreds of kilometers away in the south. The 400 square kilometers of reclaimed territory and the 8 liberated settlements in the Zaporizhzhia region were undoubtedly a massive tactical victory that boosted morale and shifted the southern front line. But those localized gains were ultimately the most elaborate and expensive psychological trap of the entire conflict.